Ladies and gentlemen.
We're gonna go eat.
iPads and laptops.
Yeah.
Give me a sheet of paper.
Go ahead and eat. I had an IT guy. I noticed he had. And you're close. I just pull you on. I don't have anything. She's what?
She's the queen of the CTC.
Would you like that introduction?
Oh, I think we should.
Let's see here. I have April Miller, CSB, Harper Mick. Let me make this note. Queen.
I'll try on the spot.
You don't think I
You're just waiting on power.
I'll say it.
Oh, I know you'll say it, but I imagine it out of my mind.
As soon as we get power, we get it backed up. The only one left is start up a little bit of paint.
Good.
I just started Rockingham County.
Not sleeping through the night tonight. It's good to see you. We'll be seeing you all later.
Months ago? I'm sorry, I was preaching.
They're going
I
out
heard
and hang out here a couple of years.
I'm impressed.
1 year.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the January 20th meeting of the Allegheny Highland Public Schools School Board meeting. Before we get started and into the agenda, I'd like to recognize Zeke Seville joining us this evening. He's in the programs at JRTC and also in the electrical and instrumentation program at Mountain Gateway. So, welcome, Zeke.
Thank you.
We were talking beforehand. We're both in our first meeting, and neither one of us know exactly what we're doing. So, y'all bear with us. We'll get through it. Ask everybody to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. Eric, would you lead us in pledge?
And now I pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Willis, roll call vote, please.
Chairman Lanford,
Here.
Mr. Eric,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton,
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan, Mr. Umstead,
Yes.
and Mr. Woodson.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we move into accommodations and awards, I'd like to announce in addition to today's agenda, under other business, item 26-33, addition to the agenda, family engagement update and reminders will be added. This item will be inserted as the first item under instructional reports prior to item 26-23. This item is informational item only. Moving on to the agenda, item 26-15, recognition of perfect attendance for first semester. Ms. Fox?
Hello, Chairman Lanford, members of the board, Superintendents Halterman and Snead Johnson, and welcome, Zeke. It is great to see you here. I can't believe you're all grown up. It seems like yesterday you were just traipsing through the halls of the middle school, so I'm glad you're here. Tonight we recognized our students who had perfect attendance during the first semester. We had over 300 students. I think that is exceptional. I mean, that is great. I am so proud of all of our schools. They are out there really making schools fun. They're engaging their students to make them want to come to school every day. On your attachment, you can see, like, if you wanted to go get a list of students to see who it was, But just a shout out to the parents, grandparents, guardians, aunts, uncles, whoever, friends that make the effort to get your child to school. Thank you. We love it when they're here and we miss them when they're not. So if you have any questions.
Board members have any questions?
Okay.
When I looked, I thought it was phenomenal, greater than 10% of the overall population.
Absolutely, yes, and our attendance is going in the right way, so I'm very proud of them.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Athletics and activity recognitions, 26-16, Mr. Dobbs.
Holler at Kendra, tell her to come in. Good afternoon. Recognizing our fall sports and athletes and our fine arts students that had successful performances. We had a lot going on tonight. Some are still practicing, but we did have Kendra Dressler who showed up. And you know, over the last couple of years, I've gotten to know Kendra, worked with Kendra a little bit. And as far as volleyball goes, you're not going to find a better volleyball player than Kendra Dressler, possibly in the state. Now, I go on to say that is she was not only the district player of the year this year in her junior year, but she was also the region player of the year in a very, very tough region. Region 3Cs made up of schools throughout, you know, the southwestern part of the state. And if you talk to anybody around our area or around the, you know, Roanoke Valley, Lynchburg, Lexington areas, they will tell you that the Region 3C is probably the toughest region in the state, 1A to 6A. And Kendra was the Region 3C Player of the Year. She was also first team All-State for her second year in a row. And you know, I think that next year, if the team does pretty well, and if Kendra, you know, comes out and she has another good year like she has the last two, you might be looking at the 3A State Player of the Year in volleyball next year, the way things are lining up. So I want to thank Kendra for coming and taking the time out. I'm sure she probably had something somewhere today, practice or something. But you know, thank you for coming. I know it's a little late in the year to be doing this for the fall, but we have to wait on the all-state teams to be picked. And anybody that's ever dealt with athletics knows that sometimes that happens in late December or sometimes early January for the all-state football teams to be picked. So thank you, Kendra. This just certificate's awarded to Kendra Dressler, volleyball, first team all-district, first team all-region, Region 3C Player of the Year, and first team 3A All-State. So congratulations and thank you very much. Thank you.
While you're up there, just had a chance to stand in the corner with Mr. Dobbs the other night at the basketball game. All the athletes, coaches, families, you know, we were talking a little bit about the consolidating process and how smooth it's gone, and athletics has been a huge part of that, especially out in the community. So thank you to the administration, coaches, families for supporting it, and look forward to seeing you back next year with the State Player of the Year at the end of that recognition.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Item 26-17, instructional spotlight, Mr. Kraft.
Did you already call me?
Yes, sir. You're up.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Sorry about that. Mr. Chairman, Madam Superintendent, members of the board, I'm Josh Kraft. I'm principal at Jackson River Technical Center. And I'll give you my usual disclaimer that I'm not a public speaker, so please forgive me if my brain starts working faster than my mouth does. I'm also fighting the crud, so please forgive me and forgive me out there in Uncle Jerry land. Tonight I'm going to give you all a brief update on the activities within our career and technical student organizations at Jackson River Technical Center, and I'm going to refer to them here on out as CTSOs instead of career and technical student organizations. CTE programs, all CTE programs in Virginia are required by code to incorporate CTSOs within their scope of their overall programs. And at JRTC, we currently have 4 active CTSO affiliations. We've got Skills USA, which encompasses the programs that are aligned with industry, trade, and consumer services. Our Nurse Aid program is affiliated with the Health Occupations Student Organization, and I'll refer to that one as HOSA going forward. Culinary Arts and Early Childhood Education Services are affiliated with Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, FCCLA. And our marketing program is affiliated with DECA, or Distributive Education Clubs of America. And each of these CTOs consists of individual state and national memberships. I'd like to introduce two of JRTC's advisors this evening. They're going to talk just a little bit later. We have John L. Cantrell, who is the advisor of our very active HOSA organization, and Jamie Huffman, who's not only the advisor for Skills USA in welding, but he's also voluntarily serves as in a very important role as school coordinator. I think that's a pretty unofficial term, but I'd like to recognize him for that. For Skills USA, since most of our JRTC programs are affiliated with Skills USA, which is a separate part-time job in itself. And they're going to give you their perspectives in just a few minutes. Our CTSOs at JRTC are all student-led by design, and activities range from organizing small community service projects to hosting guest speakers to participating in state and national competitions. The key focus of the organizations and the mission for all CTSOs is to develop leadership and personal growth, to develop technical skills, and focus on community service and cultural awareness. And now I'm going to show you a very short video that I put together. Just kind of highlight the activities of JRTC. And there is music with some saxophone, so enjoy. And that's just a very brief synopsis of what was a visual synopsis of over the last 2.5 years. But not to discount JRTC's long history of success with CTSOs going back decades. All right, so some of our recent successes within the competitive sector of CTSOs have included district champions in welding, carpentry, and electrical construction. And speaking of electrical construction, that competition for this year happened today, and we have a district champion among you tonight, Zeke Seville. Give him a round of applause. JRTC in the electrical construction category and came in first, so he will be headed to state competition in early March. So congratulations to you, good sir. We've had state champions in welding, which is Skills USA, and he went on to place 9th, and that was Davin May last year, went on to place 9th in the nation at the national competition in July. Was it July or early or late? Late June, early July, in Atlanta. We also had some state champion in clinical nursing and in the anatomage tournaments with HOSA, and they represented JRTC at the national competition back in July in Nashville. We've had 3rd place state finishers in electrical construction and carpentry, and a silver finisher at the FCCLA state competitions in culinary arts live event. So JRTC, Little School in the Mountains, is holding its own in both the state and in the nation. So very proud to be associated with Jackson River Technical Center. One note about CTSOs, they are expensive. Students attend state conferences every year, and those travel expenses are not cheap. If they advance to national competition, that gets even more expensive and often includes the cost of flights. Even though CTSOs are a required part of the CTE programs, we receive 0 overhead funding. All of these costs are funded through chapter fundraisers, our Student Activities Fund, which is replenished, and I use that term very loosely, by the balances of our programs, resale accounts at the end of each year, and often participating students contribute to their own expenses to a certain extent. We also rely on several generous community partners who supply us with donations or materials for CTSO participation. To name a couple of our significant contributors, we've got Williams Fabrication, that's formerly GenFab, SJ Needhawk, West Rock, and Gala Industries. It is CTSO competition season, so over the next 2 weeks, JRTC students will be competing at District Skills USA competitions at various places within District 6. Our building management and drafting teams are new to competition this year, and in addition to the carpentry team, Mr. Fornwalt is also sending a student to participate in a separate cabinet making competition this year. So we're also expanding the competitions that we're also competing in. Skills USA state competition and conference will be held in early March in Virginia Beach. The HOSA competition will be later in March, and it will be in Roanoke this year, and the FCCLA state conference will also be held in Virginia Beach in mid-April. And I will be sure to keep the superintendent, who will keep the board updated on any progress through excuse me, competition season. And I'm pretty much done with my part, so I'm going to allow Ms. Cantrell and Mr. Huffman to provide their perspective as advisors of CTSOs at JRTC. Thank you, Ms. Cantrell.
Thank you. Yes, so I'm the advisor for HOSA, Future Health Professionals. This year, one of my goals when I took this job 8 years ago was to really grow and expand that HOSA program, to do a lot with it, for it to be active and meaningful for the students. So this year we have over 30 members. So that's a huge number. We only allow juniors and seniors to participate. All but 2 of my students are active in HOSA. So my goal is 100% participation. So we're pretty close. HOSA as an organization across the U.S. has over 300,000 members. That's active. That doesn't count the alumni. So it is a very good organization. It's one that I support. I really think it benefits our students a lot. They are able to participate in competitions, obviously, and go to conferences. But our conferences are not just competitions. They are professional working conferences. There are speakers there are sessions, there are hands-on activities that they can do. So they're really well-developed conferences. We do have to pay a fee for that. Just the state conference fee this year is $200 per person. That doesn't count any other travel experiences. That's just the fee to attend the conference. But it is a great opportunity for them to build and develop leadership skills, to explore healthcare careers. It's not just for nursing. There's nursing, occupational therapy competitions, respiratory therapy, physical therapy, on and on and on. Any biotechnology, anything that they're interested in healthcare. They can network with healthcare professionals. It helps them to build a more robust resume when applying for jobs. Colleges look at HOSA participation, and it increases their likelihood of getting into these competitive healthcare programs when they've competed in HOSA and been active. They have the opportunity not only to run as local leadership president, vice president, but they can run at the state level if they wish, and then on to the international level. So HOSA is organized. We don't have regional competitions. We go straight to state, and then from state it goes to international. So when we went to the Nashville HOSA competition this summer, there were people there from 13 other countries besides the U.S., so they get exposure to lots of different cultures and people that way as well. And not only do they get to work on, all CTSOs are co-curricular, meaning that they're not extracurricular like a sport. The things that they learn in those CTSOs are part of our curriculum, so it's nice that it's incorporated in. So it goes right along with the things we're doing. But they also get to work on soft skills as well. So they're learning those technical skills that they need depending on what they go into in healthcare, but they're learning soft skills. They know how to show up and attend and act at a professional conference. So they'll have that when they go into a professional career, which is great as well. So a couple things that my chapter has been doing this year. We participated in a food drive before Christmas, and we donated to 2 local food banks. I can't remember the number of items. It was well into the hundreds. We partnered with the culinary chapter of the FCCLA to do that and made that donation. Right now we are working on getting a blood drive together for the spring, so we don't have a firm date on that. But my students will volunteer for that. We also do some volunteer activities. There's a Valentine's Bash February 7th at the YMCA, and there's my students, a couple of them are going to work the booth for the Allegheny Highlands Youth Coalition against tobacco use and vaping. So they volunteer for things like that. We volunteered this year with the Christmas Mother and helped put together boxes for families. What else? We also do the parade, so you'll see the girls in the parade. They always do the homecoming parade and one of the Christmas parades. We are, like Mr. Kraft said, this costs a lot of money with the travel expenses to get places, and we don't really have that worked into our budget. We don't, as teachers, get stipends for doing this. I know that myself and especially Mr. Huffman put a lot of non-9-to-5 work hour time into this. We're there in the summers, we're there in the evenings, we give up weekends, and we're happy to do it. But if people sometimes ask me, how can I best support you? financially is a great way to support us if anybody wants to make a donation. Businesses, but yes, we do need financial support to make this work for our kids. Our students did do some fundraisers this year. We've raised over $2,500. So that's great. It's really hard to do everything we need to do in the course of our jobs and running these CTSOs and raise $10,000 or $20,000. So from this community. So we're out there doing our best, but because we are out in the community selling donuts, selling raffles, asking for donations, we do like to give back. And part of HOSA is just teaching these students how they can be active members of this community. Part of, that's part of healthcare, is how can I give back in return? So they do a lot of volunteer hours. I do have a requirement for my students. If they want to stay active in HOSA, they have to do a certain amount of hours of volunteer work each year to stay active in that as well. And again, if I'm sending them to volunteer, I'm there as well, volunteering my time with them. But I think they do a really good job of showing up. Another thing that we do, that we have the unique opportunity to do because we're in Virginia, is attend the AHPS conference every year. And that's in National Harbor in Maryland. And so that's the American Society of Medical Military Health Professionals. The Surgeon General is usually there and speaks. They have a HOSA day. So we get to go, and they always put together a panel for us just for the Virginia and Maryland HOSA students in DC area. And they get to spend that morning with these professionals who have gone into healthcare in a sort of a different route. But it's a panel of about 5 people. The students get to ask questions. There's some one-on-one time. It's a really neat experience. We always take advantage of that. The cost of that conference is free, so it's just travel expenses. So I usually take a small group of seniors up and let them attend that. They get to attend the expo as well, which they set up and open just for the HOSA students. So it's like a professional expo. They've gotten to use like robotic surgery instruments and just hear the latest things in technology that's coming out. It's a really good experience for them. So we do that as well as attending the state and then the national conference if we have people that qualify for that. So this year our national conference is in Indianapolis, Indiana in mid-June if we have people qualify. So does anybody have questions about HOSA or what we do? Yep.
Questions?
Jamie?
Well, Mr. Cobbs, I think it's great that you have them out, community service and volunteer hours part of the program.
I'm not sure there's anything left to say. Mr. Kraft, I think everything kind of said. I will say a couple different things. They both talked about support. And support, Skills USA and HOSA, all that's kind of, in some ways, a lot of extra work for us. It's easy for us to, some days, not want to do it. The support, for me in the past, support of like Glenn Spangler, Jacob Wright, Mr. Kraft, that kind of support still motivates me to want to do it and not shy away from it, because sometimes it can be a lot of work. I have a student that's at home right now welding for a competition next week, and when I leave here, he will, or in the morning, he'll be bringing stuff in and showing me what he's been doing in the evenings. So it is a lot of extra time. The student that I'm taking to district contest, he spent a tremendous amount of time after hours, practicing welding, because that's really what it takes. There's a lot of schools that's much bigger than us that have someone that's dedicated to be the student organization leader. They're working with that person or taking that person on trips, and it takes a lot off the teachers. But for us, we have to sometimes find time to do a lot of stuff outside of classroom hours in order to be successful, especially at some of the bigger schools. A little bit more about support. Williams Fabrication, Galen Industries, these companies. I've been to Kansas City 2, 3, 4 times, I don't know, several times, nationals in Kansas City, to Louisville, to Atlanta, Georgia. And each time I went, my students started training the last week of May and trained nearly every day until the end of June before we went to those competitions, national competitions. And Williams Fabrication, Galen Industries, all these companies have continuously cut material, provided material, and just kept bringing it as fast as we needed it. And it's normally a dump truck load, nearly, that students practice before we go to these competitions. And that's kind of what they have to do. Skills USA used to be called VICA. It started in 1965. In 2004, it changed to Skills USA. And that just happens to be the year I started teaching that you can see. There are 50 states, including DC, Puerto Rico, and Virgin Islands. It is all part of Skills USA. It's over 450,000 people, members with Skills USA. It's over 110 different contests. For the most part, my welding program, we compete in 1 or 2 contests. But there's actually over 110 contests. It's actually, and also middle schools now. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I heard middle school names called out for 2 hours for Skills USA contests, it seemed like. And that's something new in the past couple of years. But at nationals, I mentioned that several times I've been to nationals. It's over 15,000 people there, and it's a huge event. Whether it be it's in Atlanta, Georgia again this year. It was in Atlanta last year. Before that was in Louisville, and before that was in Kansas City. As John L. said, it's a tremendous amount of cost. I've drove to Kansas City a couple times. I've flown to Kansas City, and then it's normally ends up being a week-long event. In some ways, I hate asking my supporters to pay for that stuff or donate for that, because they are providing me so much material, and consumables. They're providing everything for students to practice with in order to do well. And since, I guess, 2004, the welding program has had 13 district champions, 11 state champions, 11 that was in the top 10 at nationals, and 4 that actually won nationals. That's since 2004. And supposedly dating back to 1965, that our school, JRTC, is the only school in Virginia that's ever had a national champion in welding or welding fabrication. But it's quite a bit of work to do that. But I think they said everything else. We do have like 6 programs. Electrical wiring's been very successful in Skills USA, as they are this year, and state competitions in Virginia Beach. And carpentry's been successful. Carpentry went to nationals a few years ago as well. Automotive has been successful, and our district is probably one of the biggest districts in Virginia. So our district for Skills USA is Allegheny County, Botetourt, Salem, Roanoke City, Roanoke County, Floyd, Giles, Blacksburg or Christiansburg. So there's like 9 schools in our district. In the Hampton Roads area, the districts are split up. So they're smaller. There's less schools in Skills USA districts in the Hampton Roads district than it is in ours. So for a student just to win district Skills USA contests is a big deal here, because some of these other districts are much smaller. That's all I got. Questions?
I have a nice for Mr. Kraft.
Okay.
Good job.
I'm not ready to take your question.
I'll answer for him.
Mr. Kraft,
Yes, Mr. Umstead.
I hate it when you call me that. Good job, Jamie. Have you ever presented a budget to the board to ask for assistance?
I'm glad you asked that question.
The people are going to think you paid me to ask that.
No, I did not pay Mr. Umstead to ask that question, but thank you for asking that question, and the answer is no, but expected in the future.
So
This was just the precursor to get you all prepared for that.
I was picking up what you were putting.
There are coaches that get supplements for coaching. They get paid for transportation. The kids are all to transport places. So why, my question is, why don't you ask for that, at least ask for it? If you don't get it, okay.
It's on
at
the
least
to-do
ask.
list, Mr. Umstead, thank you.
I think well, prior to consolidation, we had more money available for our CTFs. So that's been something we've had to learn since consolidation. So.
So the 3 years has been a good learning experience, now let's ask for money.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Umstead. And before my cohorts over here start talking and say wrap it up, Mr. Kraft, I just have a couple more things. It is worth noting, and I would be remiss for not mentioning, that Katie Stoll, who also participated in the electrical construction competition today, came in third in the district. And the final image that you saw on the video that will be available to you through the link was technically not a CTSO photo, but that was a photo of our first class of inductees for our newly formed chapter of the National Technical Honor Society. And I say that because in a week from this Friday, we will induct our second class at a ceremony next Friday on January 30th at noon. And board members, you are invited to that event, and you can RSVP by email. Mr. Umstead, thank you for your question. Do I have any more questions from board members?
Any other questions?
Along with the budget request, I wonder if for a lot of these classes, if we couldn't develop like a needs punch list as far as materials go. So like any desirable scrap metal, any desirable wiring, any desirable breakers that you, like a wish list of materials.
Sure, Mr. Woodson, that's an easy ask.
Because I think, you know, a lot of the items that I'm sure you guys need or use, could, rather than give money, they could probably supplement with some material. So just a thought, if we could put something like that together, then maybe we can help with securing materials in other ways.
Sure, thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Thank you all very much. Appreciate what you.
Board, thank you. Thank you all for your time. Carry on.
Jamie?
Item 26-18, consent agenda. What I would ask the board to consider is acting on item A, approval of minutes from December 1st work session, call meeting, December 15th regular meeting, separately from items B, C, D, and E, which is review of the bills, consider approval of the JRTC nurse aid and HOSA students to Stafford, consider approval of JRTC HOSA students to Ox Hill, Maryland, and consider approval of JRTC HOSA students to Roanoke, Virginia. The reason why I asked that, both Ms. Clemens and I were not a part of the approval process of the minutes, and it's probably best that we abstain from that vote. So if the board is okay, I'd ask that we take action on A as a standalone item and B through E together. Is that good?
Move for approval of the minutes from December 1st work session, December 15th regular meeting as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ayers, second by Mr. Umstead.
Mr. Aaron?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens? Oh, Mr. Lanford?
Abstain.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll entertain a motion to approve items B, C, D, and E of the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve B to D in the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Woodson, have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Umstead. Any discussion? Ms. Willis?
Mr. Aaron?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lanford?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Morgan? Oh, sorry. Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
Item 26-19, informational items. Item A, cafeteria report. It's Ms. Halterman. We talked about this, and I don't remember what we talked about, so help me through a couple of these.
It's all good, sir. Happy to help. Each of these items in this whole section here, A through D, all those links will go out to additional information for the board. I would highlight just a couple things, just for the benefit of the board. You obviously have your cafeteria report, your capital improvement operational maintenance updates, budget report. Those are in their standard formats. Then you have 7 actually operational updates here tonight. All of those are really good informational pieces. I would personally particularly highlight number 4, which is the JWAC report on school accountability. That is a really interesting report that's come out for the state, as well as the Chamber of Commerce's new Blueprint Virginia 2035. Can you believe we're talking about 2035? But it's a forward-looking report on workforce and economic development. So I would absolutely highlight those for you. When you review the cafeteria report, we just remind everybody we do have substantial time missed in December. So there are days we don't serve children lunch, and there are also days at breakfast, and there are also days we were off due to snow. So, happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Holtman?
No.
Hearing none, we will move on to item 26-20, Budget and Finance, budget update based off of the proposed governor's budget for information this evening.
And Chairman Lamper, members of the board, Ms. Persinger, who's here this evening, has prepared a nice little update for us on state revenue projections based on the governor's budget. Again, there's a lot of change happening. This is early in the budget season. It's always early in the budget season, no matter what is going on in Richmond. But would point out that Governor Youngkin did release his biennium budget on December 17. From that point, then you also had all of the people in the school divisions around the Commonwealth getting what we call the calc tool, which gives us some estimate of what to expect from state funding for the coming year. So this is what you see here. We have elected at this time to base our budget on an average daily membership, which is a fancy word for a certain number of students that are enrolled in our population, of 2,545 students. You might think, well, that's lower than the number of students we actually serve. That's correct. ADM is influenced differently based on certain student types. This is the number that works for that budgeting process. And then Tracy does a lot of calculations from there to help us know kind of what to expect. She's prepared as well for a year that doesn't look like excess funding coming in from the state. And Ms. Persinger, I'm not sure what you might want to add to that.
As of right now, we don't have much of an increase, so but we still has to go before the House and Senate and the new governor, so we'll see what happens.
Questions? Board members related to this particular topic?
How's insurance look?
Looks like it's a little 10%, at least 10%.
Thank you, I guess.
Any other questions for the board members? I guess and you mentioned not projected to increase, but not projected to have any decrease in state funding that we know of at this point in time?
Not much.
Any other questions? All right. Ms. Halterman, 26-21, public hearing on the 2026-2027 operating budget?
Yes, so Ms. Wills, do we have anybody signed up for public? We do not have anyone. We do have to open or declare the meeting, the public hearing part open. So that will be you.
I'll now open the public hearing. Anybody in the audience wish to speak on the 2026-2027 operating budget? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any comments, questions from board members? Closing the public hearing.
Just a thought, I wonder if we shouldn't do, I guess, a broader, more obvious advertisement of the public hearing. I think lots of folks probably couldn't tell or didn't know if they didn't read the agenda that we even had the public hearing on newspaper.
Yeah, we did the newspaper.
It was in which one?
It was in the Virginia Review.
Was it in the Highland Recorder?
We just do the Virginia Review.
Okay. I didn't see it, and I'm sure lots of folks didn't. I think we probably need to do a broader advertisement that the public hearing is coming or out there so that folks can participate.
So,
John,
motion and a.
would it help if we move the public hearing and made it one of the first things?
Ms. Willis would know more officially than I would. Traditionally, we have not had a broad turnout for the budget hearing, and it may be because of the earliness in the process, which just kind of happens the way the process is built, because the public hearing needs to be kind of on the earlier side. You all as a board to date have welcomed comments about any matter in public comment, right? So I would certainly want to encourage, if you all wish to have people come speak about the budget itself, they can certainly, I would think under the board's current guidance, continue to come at any point. Does that seem fair to that issue?
That's to me.
So do you, public hearing's been opened, we need a motion
We need
to
a
close?
motion to close.
Motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Ms. Willis?
Mr. Aaron?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Langford?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
26-22 calendar information, in your package of a few things that are noted. January 26th is the VSBA Capital Conference. February 2nd, there's a budget work session. February 16th is a regular meeting. March 2nd, a budget meeting. March 5 through 6, schools are closed for spring break. March 16th, regular meeting. April 3rd through 7th, all schools and offices are closed. And April 14th, the VSBA Blue Ridge Spring Network Forum. Anybody have any questions, comments, any additional calendar information they'd like to share? Hearing none, we'll move to instructional reports and recommendations. 26-23, consider approval of current curriculum through the Program of Studies for Covington Middle School and Allegheny High School 2026 through 2027. This is an action item. I believe Ms. Halterman will handle this item.
We had the addition that comes before this. So we have item actually 2633 was inserted before 2623. So we have Ms. Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Willis.
No problem.
Good evening. Chairman Langford, board members Zeke, and superintendents. So tonight's topic is family engagement. All right, there's a lot to be said about family engagement across the board, K-12. And so we thought it was a good time to reflect on how things have changed over time. And so the first topic will be how has family engagement changed since the pandemic. So you think about 2020, it was a long time ago, but if you think about how family engagement has changed from 2020 till now, it's made a really big difference in how we connect with our families. And actually, it's been a positive change and not a negative one. So the challenges faced before the pandemic, conferences were truly in person and they were on the phone. And really that's all that we did, in person and phone conferences. We scheduled conferences that were truly fixed windows of time. So we sent home the sheet and said, pick one. Put a number 1, 2, and 3, send it back to us. We'll give you a time slot. We don't typically, and we still do those sheets, but we're so much more advanced now because of 2020 and the pandemic. We're much more in tune to what families need from us to be engaged. So, and back then, before 2020, if you came to one of our conferences, it was more about grades and behavior, and that's still important, but you're gonna hear more about social emotional needs of our kids and about attendance. So it's more well-rounded, it's more about the whole child instead of just their grades and behavior, because kids are much more than their grades and behaviors. All right, so back in the day, before 2020, families were telling us things like, I work evenings, I can't come. I work during the day, I can't attend. I don't have transportation, I can't find childcare. I just have had a baby and I'm not able to come. They could say, I'm sick, I wish I could come during my lunch break, but there isn't enough time to get there and back. Those quotes were real. We were hearing those things from our parents, and that's what mattered, because reality required us to rethink our approach, because parents are important. They're part of our team, and we depend on our parents. So we can work by ourselves, but we don't get very far when we don't have family engagement. So we rethought our approach, and the turning point, I will say, was truly the pandemic. And as you know, when the pandemic hit, everything did change overnight. So there was a shift in our perspective, and again, it's been for the good. So back in the day, it was all about physical attendance. So we would keep track of how many families came to conferences, how many phone calls we did. We would keep track of how many people attended the carnival, or how many people came to open house. And that's important because they were truly coming through our door, but that's not the gauge that we see now as to family engagement. Certainly we want them to come through our door, but sometimes they can't because of work schedules, because maybe they have little children, maybe they have families at home that they're taking care of, so they can't physically come through our door. So we're offering different ways for them to be engaged. So the previous view was attending those meetings, attending those one-time like Polar Express or PTO meetings, and coming to conferences in person. And now we've shifted to more ongoing family engagement throughout the entire year. Like when the teachers say that little Susie or Johnny is having trouble, they don't wait till parent conference time. They call the families in September. That's the expectation. And we want to get on the same page to make sure that those kids are getting what they need and not waiting until those parent-teacher conference days. So the shift has been important. And so now we offer a lot of different options. We have in-person meetings for families who want the face-to-face. We have phone conferences for those that would like phone communication. We do offer more flexible scheduling when that's appropriate. And we also offer that virtual conference, and those are available. So examples would be like a Zoom or a Google Meet when those are necessary, because some of our families, they have transportation or other barriers that keep them from coming physically to the school. So we provide lots of different options. And why does this matter? It matters for our kids, and it's a huge impact, because if families connect with us and families are engaged, it helps us with overall student attendance, the students' behavior, and our achievement. And that's real. So since 2020, we are seeing more families having access to school communication. Families are more involved and engaged in monitoring academic progress. Stronger communication about students' social and emotional needs, because that's certainly important when it comes to mental health. Early intervention when students struggle, and those little learners, like when they're 3 and 4, we want to get them early, and when there's a concern, we want to know so we can get them in our school sooner rather than later. And then we have deeper trust between home and school, and we're less confined to the traditional parent-teacher conference days. And so we're seeing it more, we want more ongoing participation, and instead of just one conference or 2 conferences a year. I will give you an example of the one about early intervention when students struggle. So the other day I was missing, we're doing after school tutoring, and I was missing 10 of our kindergarten forms. And I said, you know what, it was like, I don't know, 5 o'clock one evening, and I said, I'm going to call the families, and I'm going to say, first of all, did you receive the letter I sent home? 1, maybe you misplaced it, and maybe number 3, do you have any questions? I called the 10 families, and every single one of them, but 2, said yes, my child may stay after for after school tutoring. But what I thought about after I got off the phone with them was there wasn't one family that said to me, why is my kid being referred for tutoring? They all knew. They all knew that their kid needed that extra tutoring because the teachers had connected with them. It wasn't a surprise. They already knew because teachers, it was very obvious, were making sure that the parents were in the know about their child's education. And so that was really cool to be able to witness right after all of those phone calls and to be able to get the kids in tutoring. So I really believe that deeper trust between home and school, I do believe that parents are seeing that more and more each day. So those non-traditional models, we're honoring working families, we're respecting single parents, we're supporting multilingual families, we're including caregivers beyond just parents because we know that some of our families, there are grandparents and great-grandparents raising our students, foster families, and we respect families that are going through hard times. When they say they can't attend, it's because they can't attend. It's not because of any other reason. So we're providing the opportunity for phone calls, conferences, all of the things to be able to help with that because it's important. And then the one I really like is allowing communication outside of our zip code because not all families live in our zip code. Some of our families do, but we have some families, one dad may live in Covington, but the mom may live in Roanoke. The mom may live here, but the dad may live in West Virginia. He too wants to be involved, and it's our job to provide that. So sometimes they wish to come in person, great. Sometimes they want to come and join a Google Meet, that's fine too. But to provide them options is important. So rethinking showing up. So instead of being physically present, we want to be a partner in their child's success, and whether they can come through our front door or not, we want them to be involved in their child's education. So flexibility and understanding go a long way. Family engagement is not an event. It is an ongoing relationship between home and school, and we want all of our families to have the opportunity to access their child's education in any way they can. And so, every family deserves a voice, an opportunity to be involved, not just the ones who can take off at 2 p.m. on a weekday. Our commitment is ongoing. Every student, every family, every day. So, the pandemic has changed how we deliver instruction and our education, but it also has changed how we connect with families, and it certainly has been positive. So I think it's good for you to hear of all of those options and how we're doing all the different things to get our families involved and engaged. But I also think it's a good time to remind you of all the other things that we can do to get us engaged across the state. So I added these few things here. Professional meeting opportunities. So several of us, we are on committees, we serve on associations, and so sometimes we're asked to go to Richmond or to Charlottesville, and sometimes we don't have the time to get there and back. So they provide us Google Meet options, and how nice it is to be able to join a Google Meet and you don't have to drive 3 or 4 hours down the road. So that's cool. A lot of us take advantage of that. K-12 advisory groups, CIP meetings, many of us and our teachers are part of the CIP consortium. We don't have to drive to Wise County. We join a Google Meet and we save a lot of time, but we still can be engaged and we still have ownership and we still have a voice in the committee, but we don't have to drive 4 or 5 hours down the road. We can stay here and participate that way. Eligibility meetings is another example with multiple participants. If you've ever tried to have a meeting with 5 or more people, sometimes 10, it's very important to be able to work off everyone's schedule. And so some people truly come in person, where 5 or 6 can come and join virtually, and it really works well when you have people outside of our area trying to connect all the dots with all the other schools. So eligibility meetings would be a great example of engagement. Advisory meetings to the superintendent. She offers all of the Zoom meetings that way. Last night I was flipping through and I came upon a basketball game. So sporting events, having the Virginian Review, showcase volleyball and basketball and football. Like, you can be engaged and keep up with athletics by way of virtual components. So that's important. I was thinking about how neat it would be if you had grandparents that were not able to attend in person. Maybe it's too cold, maybe they're sick, and they can still be, part of the team, just not physically there, but they still can be engaged, and that's neat. Board meetings, when one of you is absent, you can join, and you have, by phone or by Google Meet, so that would be an example. Staff recertification options and courses. We have lots of our teachers going back to school. They don't have to drive to Radford or to UVA or to Wise. They can join a Google Meet and complete their courses that way. Paraprofessionals. Some of our paraprofessionals are going back to school to get their teaching endorsement, and that's really cool. They too are working through that virtually, and that's nice. And then of course our Facebook posts to get the word out about all the good stuff that's happening in Allegheny. So, a way to summarize all of this is, let's continue our family engagement opportunities, deepen our outreach, and make engagement a shared mission, because we certainly want everybody to be engaged, and we can't do it by ourselves. We have to, it's a team. It's a team. So, any questions for me?
I have one. So what do you think your percent or hit rate is with parents today? Like, are you getting 400 kids? Are you hitting 300 of them's parents, or any idea?
Okay, so I have 533 kids currently, and so what we have done just recently is in our data meetings, we have them and we speak every child's name, and I expect the teacher to know everything about the kid, whether it's their grades, their attendance, their social emotional needs. And so what that tells me is if they know them, then they too can connect with their families. So out of 533, I would say it's high. I would say 450.
Contact of some sort with the parent.
Or more, yes. Some, and you may not be surprised, sometimes we call and we can't get anyone to answer. It's real. It's real. So I can't say I have 533 out of 533, because sometimes...
You got a willing participant.
Yeah.
As well, right? So
yeah. But we try. We certainly try.
It's good.
Any other questions? Not a question, just a comment. I appreciate the fact that you kind of pulled a rabbit out of a hat when you mentioned the positivity, silver lining, COVID in a public education setting. A lot of us that lived through that as board members or staff members, we forget that there doesn't feel like there were a lot of silver linings.
Right.
To that, but I appreciate your reminding us of that, because the extra connectivity and how we were forced to be conditioned as a population to that, I do think has some lasting positive impacts. I still, probably like a lot of people, I still prefer a face-to-face, but it's a wonderful option to have that virtual. So.
And I think we're years removed, so now we can look back to find the silver lining and be like, we learned from it, right? And it's making us better. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, is this
strictly like your information as far as Jeter, Watson, or is this like every school kind of thing should be going, like doing this kind of same thing?
Okay, so this all started when I was part of a Scope 19 cohort out of UVA. And I spent 2 years with a group of administrators from around the state, and each of us had an option as to what was the one theme that I wanted to learn and study for 2 years. And so 1, instruction, 2, families, and 3, our students, and how they all tied together. So we spent time as a cohort. There were 7 of us in our group, and we did empathy interviews. And so from those empathy interviews, and that's when you call somebody on the phone randomly and you say, what am I doing right and what can I do better? Because we all can do better. And so from there, this came, and I certainly, and I know the ladies, I see some and I see high school represented, I see middle school, and I see elementary. I believe totally that we all do this. And if a family member is watching and they're saying, you know, we received a child report card last week. I really should call the school and ask for a conference. Like, we want that. Like, don't wait 3 weeks. Call us now, because report cards did just go home. It's very timely. Yeah, very timely.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think if there's a way for us across the board to start collecting some of that hard data, right? I mean, around how successful we are with making contact with parents, and even if we had like somewhat subjective, but even if we had some type of teacher comment around, you know, effective meeting, blah blah blah, or they answered but we didn't have a good conversation, or they weren't interested. Even if we collect that type of information, I think it'll make this whole process more powerful. And then we'll know if we're making, if all these efforts are making an impact, or it's just an impression. Like, hey, we're reaching 90% of our parents. Well, is it doing anything? You know, so that's what I'd ask. Just add some hard data, and I think this is awesome.
So sometimes when we reach out to families, it isn't all negative. You know,
right.
Like back in the day when the principal called families, they were like, oh my gosh, the principal is calling, you know? Like, and that's still sometimes the case. They gasp when you say, hi, it's Cindy Morgan from Jeter Watson, and they'll gasp. And I'll say, no, it's good. Like, I want to tell you good stuff. So making those positive phone calls too. Yeah.
Thank you all for what you do. Thank you for the program and the always the infectious energy behind what you do every day is phenomenal. Right?
Thank
It really is. So thank you very much.
We love it. Thanks.
And Karen, thank you for getting me back on track. It's one of many. She's got me a nice highlighted agenda up here that I'm supposed to be following, and I started staring at this, and I got sideways. So, yeah, thank you, Karen. All right, now we are on to 26-23, consider approval of current curriculum through the program of studies for Covington Middle School and Allegheny High School, 2026-2027. This is action. Ms. Halterman is presenting this, I believe, this evening, as Mr. Callahan is not able to join.
That's correct. And so, Chair Blanford and members of the board, I bring to you work that really our instruction team created. So huge kudos to our involved principals, to people like Dwayne Ross, who have put this together. This is the approval of our program of studies, or hope for approval of our program of studies for 26-27. The program of studies is a set of offerings for what we can offer as a school division. It is not a list of everything we do offer at a given time. So it's a little bit of a technical difference because we're always responding to what students actually need, what students are actually requesting, what our staff capacity is, all of those kinds of things. So this is a document that explains, with those parameters in mind, what's offered at our middle school, our high school, and our technical center, and by extension, things we cooperate with Mountain Gateway Community College on. So it's not the same as their course catalog, but it shows you some nice overlaps you have with programs like the Governor's School, Lab School, these kind of innovations you've supported over the years. We can go into lots of detail on the program of studies, but there's two things I think that are really important from the staff perspective for you all as a board, and that we want to thank you for as a staff. And they're numbers 8 and 9 on the list that is in the memo. Program of studies, again, not everything in the program of studies is going to be offered every semester or every year, right? Because we're going to respond to student interest, we're going to respond to what the demand is. That's important to know, and you all have been very responsive to that. So we tend to not create lots of deletions from our program of studies, because we want to make sure we're always able to offer the course when the demand arises. The .9 there is also really important, and we really appreciate the support of the board to this end. You all have allowed, since the inception of the Consolidated School Division, for this document to be a living document. And that's really important for us to be responsive to opportunities that they present. And particularly with the relationships we've built with places like Mountain Gateway, things that might change in the state with different courses that may become available in career technical education in general, all of these kind of things. We want to be able to take advantage of opportunities as they present instead of being in a reactive position. So you all have really empowered us to do that, and we'd love to just highlight that for you all. We think that's not what every board does, and we appreciate that you all done that. So this document is for your approval. I'd love to say it's not all that different from last year, which is true, but there are places where there are differences. I think immediately of the nurse aid course numbering is different. So there's some technical differences like that. But we are hopefully seeking your approval this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Halterman. Any questions related to the document before the board for consideration? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move for approval of the curriculum program studies for Covington Middle School and Allegheny High School as presented.
Motion, second?
I'll second.
Second. Motion by Mr. Ayers, second by Mr. Wilson. Ms. Willis?
Mr. Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lansbury?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
Motion passes. Item 26-24, the 2025-2026 school plan postings. It's an action item as well. Ms. Halterman?
Sure. Chairman Lanford, members of the board, want to bring this to you this evening about our school support plans, which are commonly known as SSPs. We love acronyms in education. We used to call these CSIPs, Continuous School Improvement Plans. It's basically the same thing. These are plans that we post for all schools on our websites. We do that beginning in the fall. We keep them updated as the year moves on. Approximately a week or two ago, we heard from Richmond that they wanted to make sure we had specifically requested your approval of the postings related to 2 of our schools. That just has to do with the target items they're working on as part of their own continuous improvement at Mountain View and Jeter Watson Elementary Schools. Their plans have been in place since the fall, and I want to reassure the board of that. This is something where they've been making forward strides for their students really, really well since we came back to school in the fall, and honestly before that in the summer. But this is a piece that we need to make sure that you as a board have been comfortable with the fact that we are posting the plans on the website. Again, if you go to any of our school websites, you will find the school's SSP. I'm going to say longer than a decade ago, that became pretty standard in Virginia, that you're going to find that for every school on their website. So we're happy to entertain questions about that. But these, again, are living documents. Every school has one. They are continuously updated. If the school is doing due diligence by that plan, and our schools are, they are really living documents. They're not even on a quarterly update cycle. They're getting updated very, very, very frequently. And again, the basics of those are posted on the website in a manner that doesn't identify particular individual students.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Halterman? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve item 26-24, the 2025-26 school plan postings.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Arrick.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Woodson. Ms. Willis?
Mr. Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lansbury?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
We have item 26-25. It's a Consider approval of a resolution designating February as CTE month. This is an action item. I have a copy of the resolution here. The staff contacts are Mr. Ross and Mr. Kraft. As Mr. Ross isn't here, Mr. Kraft, do you have anything you would like to add before we consider this resolution?
Please, would you like me to read it?
Are you up to reading? Did you get
Is
your
that
cough drop?
allowable?
Yeah, absolutely. They'd rather listen to you read than me.
He's gonna use his acting words.
All right, you've got the hard copy, or you want me to read from the screen? Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All right, this is a resolution naming February as CTE Acknowledgement Month. So, whereas the month of February is acknowledged and designated nationally as Career and Technical Education CTE Month to raise public awareness of the achievements and accomplishments of CTE programs across the nation, and whereas CTE offers students the opportunity to gain the academic, technical, and employability skills necessary for true career readiness, and whereas students in CTE programs participate in authentic, meaningful experiences that improve the quality of their education and increase their engagement and achievement, and whereas CTE provides students with career exploration opportunities early in their educational experience, which enables them to make informed and beneficial decisions about their academic coursework and pursue established programs of study and career pathways, and whereas leaders from business and industry nationwide report increasing challenges related to addressing the skills gap and connecting qualified professionals with careers in critical and growing CTE related fields such as advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, energy, healthcare, information technology, and transportation. And whereas CTE prepares students for these and other fulfilling careers by offering integrated programs of study that link secondary and post-secondary education and lead to the attainment of industry-recognized credentials. And whereas CTE programs ensure that employers have access to a qualified and thriving workforce, ensuring our nation is a strong and competitive economy. And whereas the collaboration between career and technical educators, school leaders, and local industry partners drives economic growth in the Allegheny Highlands by preparing students for careers in high demand, high wage, and technologically advanced fields. And now therefore be it resolved that the Allegheny Highlands Public School Board do hereby proclaim February 1st through 28th, 2026 as CTE month in the Allegheny Highlands Public Schools, and urge all citizens to become familiar with the services and benefits offered by the CTE programs in this community, and to support and participate in these programs to enhance their and our students' individual success in productivity. And if I may, on February 27th, JRTC is hosting its annual open house to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft.
That's not part of the resolution, but I take the opportunity to plug that there.
Times, Mr. Kraft?
Excuse me?
Times?
We're going to do 2 times, one in the morning from like 9 to 11:30, and then 1 to 3:30.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft.
My pleasure.
With that resolution in front of the board, I'll now entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Olmsted,
Second.
second by Ms. Clemens. Ms. Willis?
Mr. Aaron?
Yes,
Ms. Clemens?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lanford?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Whitten?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item 26-26, consider approval of Black History Month resolution. Staff contact for this is Mr. Ross. He's not here this evening. In your package, you have a memo and also a copy of said resolution. I'll read the memo, if it's okay with the board, that Mr. Ross has prepared for this item, and then follow that with the resolution. Mr. Ross's memo: each February, Black History Month is observed nationwide to honor the achievements, contributions, and history of African Americans, and to recognize their central role in shaping the United States. This observance provides an important opportunity for reflection, education, and engagement around the struggles, triumphs, and cultural heritage that continue to enrich our communities and inspire future generations. 2026 Black History Month observance marks a historic milestone as it represents the 100th anniversary of the first nationally recognized Black History Week in 1926. Established by the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, the original week of recognition evolved into the month-long national observance officially recognized in 1976. The official 2026 theme, A Century of Black History Commemorations, highlights a century of intentional efforts to preserve, teach, and elevate African American history. The theme calls upon educational institutions to reflect on the impact of these commemorations and expanding historical understanding, correcting omissions in the historical record, and affirming the ongoing contributions of African Americans to the past, present, and future of the nation. In support of the important role Black History Month plays in education and cultural awareness, approval of this resolution affirms the school board's commitment to inclusive learning environments and encourages meaningful instructional and school-based activities aligned with this centennial observance. In your packet, following the memo, you have a copy of the resolution, which I'll now read aloud and then ask for the board to consider approval. Whereas Black History Month is celebrated each February to honor the significant contributions, sacrifices, leadership, and achievements of African Americans throughout the history and development of the United States. And whereas African Americans have played a foundational role in shaping the nation through contributions in education, science, medicine, agriculture, business, military service, government, civil rights, the arts, and community leadership. And whereas the study of and celebration of African American history promotes awareness, historical understanding, mutual respect, and appreciation for the diversity that strengthens our schools and communities. And whereas public schools play a vital role in ensuring that students receive accurate, inclusive, and meaningful instruction that reflects the full American story and the experiences of all people. And whereas the 2026 Black History Month theme, a century of Black History commemorations, marks the 100th anniversary of the first nationally recognized Black History Week in 1926, and honors a century of intentional efforts to preserve, teach, and elevate African American history. Efforts that expanded into the month-long national observance in 1976 and continue to shape understanding, scholarship, and equal opportunity in the modern world. And whereas the centennial theme calls upon the nation to reflect on the transformative impact of Black History commemorations in advancing recognition of African American experiences, correcting historical omissions, and affirming the vital role of Black Americans in shaping the past, present, and future of the United States. And whereas the Allegheny Highlands School Board remains committed to fostering inclusive learning environments that promote equal opportunity, academic excellence, respect, and opportunity for all students. Now therefore be it resolved that the Allegheny Highlands School Board supports the designation of February 26 as Black History Month in Allegheny Highlands Public Schools, recognizes the 2026 centennial theme, A Century of Black History Commemorations, as a significant milestone in national educational and cultural history, encourages educators, administrators, and staff to incorporate African American history, culture, and contributions into instruction and school activities throughout the month and across the academic year, affirms the importance of equal opportunity, inclusion, and historical understanding as essential components of student success and community engagement, invites students, families, and community members to participate in activities and learning opportunities that honor the legacy and continued impact of African Americans. I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ayer, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Woodson. Ms. Willis?
Mr. Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Clemmons?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Langford?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Littleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Umstead?
Yes.
And Mr. Woodson?
Yes, ma'am.
Item 26-27, Black History Month campaigns. Ms. Halterman?
Sure. Chairman Langford, members of the board, this is just a follow-up memo that Mr. Ross has prepared for us regarding Black History Month. It gives you what the schools are planning to do at that link. So again, just as a reminder, all those things that are underlined in blue, you can click them and it'll take you to a link. And this is a summary that our schools have prepared of what activities are planned.
Information this evening. Any questions from the board regarding that? Item 26-28, early childhood preschool update.
Yes, and Chairman Lamper, members of the board, this is just a summary of early childhood and preschool opportunities that are available through the schools. And the reason we prepared this summary is we want to underline that there is increasing additional conversation in the community about different things everyone in our community, not just the schools, can do to support our children that are below school age. You know, our responsibilities to children begin formally when they're eligible and under compulsory attendance. We do try to help students ahead of that curve in a variety of ways through school programming, and there's also some energy in the community from different nonprofit groups, governmental agencies, all kinds of places that help that all come together for our kiddos. So just to recap all of that, we wanted to prepare a summary for the board that includes some major efforts that are going on to use that as a continued launching pad as we have further conversations in the community about what we can do for our youngest kids. And Melinda and I were in a meeting the other day about our youngest kids, and we were literally talking about 0 to 3. Right? We were really talking about well below school age as being a target population where our community, with all of our resources, may be able to help step up and help our families. So this summary includes information about the Virginia Preschool Initiative program, commonly referred to as the 4-year-old program, the Early Childhood Special Education program, which in our instance does include what we call AHPS, which is a lot of role model peers that are involved in the program. So it's another place that students, many students, can be involved in programming. The Allegheny Highlands Early Learning Partnership, commonly called AHPS, which is an organization of, my goodness, a lot of community organizations. I will leave one out if I try to list them all. They do all kinds of things to try to reach out to families, including connecting families to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And then we also have our upcoming kindergarten registration, and Daryl's been very helpful to us. The press release is already out about that. So while we all are thinking about all those opportunities for kids below school age, this is just a summary, starting point for some additional conversations.
Board members have any questions related to that topic?
No, I think it's all good.
Is it possible to also have the early childhood work that the Y does under our VPI? If we could figure out how that is possible or not possible? I mean, just a question. I don't know what is possible. I was looking for ways to collaborate more as a community to improve early childhood, because I think that is a big key to the kingdom here.
We're getting excited when we'll talk about that. That's why you see me ready to share. The YMCA, as well as our preschool programming and some private preschool programming, are all connected to use the same curriculum, which is really cool. It's called Stream M3. It's kind of hard to say, but there's a lot of collaboration that occurs from a curriculum standpoint. We are really proud of our partnership with the YMCA, and Melinda's always so humble, but she helps manage that partnership in particular. And so they are, as we understand it, basically at capacity for their childcare. And doing a nice job using that curriculum. She might have something additional that you wish to add.
The only thing I will add is that in the past and possibly in the present and the future, we have invited the YMCA preschool programs to our professional development opportunities, and we've worked together collaboratively to make the program